was
The
on
new
Sirenscape.
bridge.
Oh yeah, I haven't shown you around the new bridge yet, have I? Let me jump back to the landing page. I may have had to recycle one or two things, so yeah. keep my eyes shut about that. But here we are. We are up. We are running. We are live. So, folks are already looking. Everybody's signed in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Okay. Alright then, if we're going to have this discussion, however brief it may be, I'll jump us into the intro vid now, and then we can just get straight to it. So, excuse us, folks. Hello, hello, folks, and welcome to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs. I'm MJ the GM. I will be your games master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the Combs crew. But which Combs? Because anybody who was paying any attention to us last time know that we did an episode, Let's Build a Ship. So, we have yet to fully lay down what it is we're using, but a couple of people have opinions, so let's hear it out. But first of all, let's switch to the view where you can actually see what we're going on about. So, because we based the ship loosely around what was seen in Star Trek Online with the Kittimer class, I used that as the de facto image to go along with what we have been suggesting this ship might look like, because the new Combs is going to be a fusion of Klingon and Starfleet. But Dave has been doing his due diligence, and yes, I said that because I like alliteration. But we've got a couple of extra options. But before we get there, let's go to promoting Chris's stuff, because he's also the first one with an opinion on such things. So, Chris, plug your wares and then give us your opinion on, once again, of the images.
Yeah, so just same as usual for me, really. I've got that like retro review channel where I just look at some of my favorite games of all time. Taking a bit of a break with it at the moment. I've got some stuff going on where I'm looking for work instead. But yeah, those are still there for the time being. And in terms of the ship designs, I'm happy to stick with the one we have already, the Star Trek Online one.
Rather than use AI-generated stuff, which, you know, is fine and fair and awesome. Because, yeah, bad for the environment, among other things. But, on the flip side, if you are creating a ship that's a fusion of two different polities, starship designs, unless they've already done it somewhere else, you're kind of stuffed. So, AI can help us in that regard. So what do the rest of you think? Are you fervently against the use of AI like Chris here, or do we actually think we want to go with one of the images that Dave has put forth using AI-generated images? I'm gonna pick people out then for their opinion if nobody's saying anything. Liz, let's start with you, the Capitan. El Capitan, do you have any preference on what image to use for the new Combs?
I agree with Pantaloon. I have no strong feelings.
So you don't mind going with what we've already suggested, or you don't really have a preference from any of the images that Dave had something else generate?
Yeah, not really. I have no strong feelings one way or the other.
Abstaining from responsibility of decision. A fine trait in a captain. I'm just winding you up. Okay, cool. No strong feelings one way or the other. Let's go with Connie. You backing Chris up on his opinion, or do you think one of those images looks quite nice, actually, or what?
I think out of the AI ones, it would be the last one, but that's the similarity with the Star Trek Online, which I prefer a more sleeker look anyway.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I'm not in favor really of AI myself, generatively, so I think Star Trek Online, that version is for me as well.
Okay, so Mark, you have no strong feelings either, and Dave, well, you went to the trouble of generating these things, and when I say trouble, what I mean is, you know, you looked and then typed commands into a prompt, so...
Yeah.
Not to diminish the amount of work you did. Yes, Mark, sorry.
It was I have no strong feelings about AI.
Right.
I like the last one for looking cool, and the first one fits what we do.
Just slapping two different shit types together and just bolting them on. Yeah, okay.
If you want my opinion.
Which would be the last image you generated, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the last image I generated I liked. But again, I understand people's
feelings regarding AI.
Feelings regarding AI, I really do get that. And if people want to go with basically the actual Kittimer from Star Trek Online, you know, I also found that one out as well.
Yes,
so
you did.
For me, it's not a, you know, a either or. I'm fine with. It's, you know.
Okay.
Or to add a different one, roll a d5. We have 5 choices. The one from online, the 4 that Dave provided.
We risk having that funky, wonky middle one if we do.
Yeah,
so
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to add the funniness.
I thought I put a cursed one in there, by the way.
Okay.
Why don't? I was going to say, why don't we do more of a D2? If people are up for that. If not, let's
Flip
just
a coin?
do a vote.
Flip a coin, kind of
coin. And if not, I was going to say, if people don't want to do that, let's just do a vote on the last one and the actual Kittimer.
Well, now my vote is for delegating to the dice gods. Flip a coin.
As is ever your lot, Mark. You are pretty much a worshipper of the dice gods, so that's fine.
Even though the dice gods absolutely hate me, and I curse their names sometimes.
Who cursed whom first is what I want to know.
They did.
It's all them. Okay, gotcha.
I like to point out, I got a nickname from LARP.
Ah, yes, the Blackbeard Drawman. Well, okay, yes, the dice gods were the ones to curse you first. Good point.
Yes.
Good point.
So,
all right then.
Yeah, dice.
Cast your votes then. Liz, do you want to just flip for it? If you don't have a vote?
I definitely like the last one. It looks because it has both the Federation and the Klingon emblems.
Okay. One for the last one generated. Chris was firmly against it, as we know, so that's one either piece. Connie! Where are you sitting on this?
I think the classic Star Trek Online one.
Okay, 2 for the Tech Online, 1 for the other one. Okay. Merc, you were going to flip a coin.
Is Mark going to be the deciding factor?
Well, you know, Dave can flip a coin too if he wants.
Yeah, well, I'm going to make Mark the deciding factor on this because I'm going to go with the last one because it was me who did the work. Well, say
Sure.
Yes. Flip a coin.
Here we go, folks. Brace yourselves. What's it going to be?
Hold on. Which one's one and which one's two?
Well, I was about to say. Designate. Which one is 1, which one is 2? Is 1 the Star Trek Online? Is 2 the AI?
Yeah.
1 for Star Trek Online, 2 for Dave's.
Okay. /r space 1d2, and off you go.
Who's flipping the coin?
You are.
Oh.
You, the designated flippy. 1.
Star Trek Online.
Star Trek Online.
Okay. Alright. That I'm actually rather pleased to hear. Because I already came up with the semi-deck plan, so it saves me having to redo that bloody deck plan. So
Trust in the dice gods.
Trust in the dice gods. And, well...
I'm happy.
Either way. Okay, so that's that. Righty hosey ho.
I did put the dimensions down for the Kittimer.
You did, and I also found it by looking at what Star Trek Online have done. What nobody has done is lay out how many decks there are and what the deck plan is. So I have to pretty much guess that myself. So it's a bit airy-fairy.
Where is the bridge on the Kittimer? Is it up at the back or is it at the front?
From what I can tell, it is on the /saucer section at the front, but it is slightly lower. If you see a side-on view, you'll notice that the aft section is actually significantly higher and looks to be the main shuttle bay. So the main shuttle bay is actually deck 1, and it's situated aft, whereas deck 2 is more or less the bridge area towards the front. We will get to the slightly odd deck layout when we get to other stuff. But for the moment, let me not take folks away from... actually, that's a good point. Let me quickly jump us back to having the original deck 1 look, because if we're doing science, let me want to see everybody who's available. I heard a budup. Rusty budup back. Oh, excellent timing, because if I remember, the only 2 with actual science projects going were the chief engineer and the chief science officer. So it's time for more science before we begin. So who wants to go first? Is it going to be Gerkow's somewhat dodgy let's emulate the Deneva neural parasites and their means of telepathic communication, or are we going with the Aurora drive?
More dangerous one.
So the choice is...
Yeah, Aurora drive then.
Viruses or mushrooms?
Yeah.
Let's go mushrooms first.
Why is the Aurora drive the more dangerous one out of the 2?
It's less dangerous than the other one, I think you'll find. Is it? That's a very good point, actually. It's a bit of a toss-up between the 2 of them now I think about it. Oh, there we are. Answers on a postcard. Chat, which one do you think is more dangerous? Anyway, or, you know, rather than a postcard, actually post it in the chat. Might be faster. Speaking of, if we are going mushrooms first rather than brain parasites, let's go with Tavish then. You were developing the cavitation compensator. You had tried phase shifting before, but hadn't quite got there. Now you were looking at ship design. So, who's helping? If anybody.
I don't think anybody has ship design. I don't
Wrong.
think... Oh.
I do. Starship
Oh.
design.
Come on then, Phlesc, come and help me out.
That is where you are wrong, sir. Alright, cool. Reason and engineering down to ship design, so 1 for Phlesc, 2 for Tavish. Roll. Good start.
You're welcome.
What we rolling?
Reason engineering.
Oh. I have no focuses in this.
Starship design? Okay. Nevertheless, that's 4 in total. Jeez. Right. This looks promising.
Ooh.
Phase shifting it to become a semi-power source was okay as an idea, but it seems that engineers have been working on this kind of problem for a while anyway, and you'd already done something similar to this with the hodgepodge version before. So it's down to basic starship design, actually, and where to put it. Where would be the best place to put it on a starship in order to have it be most effective? And yeah, this came together pretty quickly for you guys. From theory, or rather I should say hypothetical, to running the numbers, to running a couple of tests through simulations, looking very good. Now it's just down to actually finalizing the overall design of the thing. This is looking very promising. That was fast as well. You got through the theoretical side of it very quickly. All right.
That's the 2 best engineers in Starfleet.
Evidently. Well then, that moves us to Gerkow's not potentially apocalyptic investigation into the Denevan neural parasites. You were using neural science as the means by which you were looking at how the Denevan neural parasites might be communicating over long distances, and how that might be utilized in a, hopefully, technological sense. So, really, anybody you want to help with this is going to be somebody in the medical profession. So that really suggests Uro or Sott.
Yeah, I can assist.
Cool. I mean, you don't have any foci per se, so it'd be just down to reason and medicine, but those are your toppest stats. So 1 dice for Sott, 2 dice for Gerkow.
God focused.
Not in this regard, no. It's neural science, so...
Well, Legion of Honor.
Ooh.
Wow. Dr. Sott, please.
Did Dr. Sott deliberately mess that up? In order to... Well, yes, Legion of Honor was a damn good thing, because that could have gone catastrophically wrong, couldn't it?
So what was my roles?
So, reason and medicine, essentially.
Ugh. What if I did the no. No momentum, okay. Well, this is going to be interesting.
If you don't want to spend... If you don't have momentum to spend, you could potentially spend threat in its stead.
Don't.
It's fine. It's...
I thought I'd try. You know, That's not bad, though. 1 success.
Something.
Better than now. Okay. Long road to go, because these are next to unknown creatures. They don't pop up that often, and when they do, it's usually a catastrophic event. So, being very, very slow, deliberate, and careful with these things is probably a very good idea. what with the fact that Dr. Sott had a bit of a whoops moment there, well, thankfully it didn't manage to be a breach in containment, but you can't actually see what I'm doing here, but I'm putting my fingers very close together to show you how close it was to being an accident in the lab. But there we are. Okay. Whew. Some progress made, not a huge amount, but still progress.
I would like to then just use that as evidence to say that, you know what, maybe my experimenting, I mean, my science project is safer than the Aurora project because we're taking so many measures. It's like, you know, when pilots fly a plane, it can be catastrophic, but they do all those checks, and that's what we've done on the science side. Thank you.
No.
Hold on.
No. No.
Go on, Dave.
Hold on. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think I am some kind of mad engineer?
Not helping your argument.
What?
That's not helping your argument.
Well, quite.
Do you think I'm some kind of crazy lady who just comes up with
I don't
random
think. I know.
Or a metaphorical question.
Indeed. Indeed.
Does it boil down to who's madder, Gerkow or Tavish? And I think we all know the answer to that.
I'm not sure we do.
Gerkow.
Oh.
I'm not sure it's so clean cut anymore, personally.
Right, time to flip it.
No, it's not going to go between those two, but they are definitely the craziest ones on the crew.
Well,
hold on.
Says the captain.
Blasch,
quite.
On D2. 1 for Tavish.
Oh, we're flipping a coin to see who's the most nuts. Okay.
2 for Gerkow. Yeah.
If you want. The rest of us will probably think it's still the two of you, but you know, go with it.
Tavish can believe whatever he wants.
As another sci-fi actor once said, who is more the fool or the fool who follows him?
That's pretty good.
I know, it's not bad, Anyway. Doodly-doops. So, yes. Questions as to a solid, healthy psychological outlook notwithstanding, we are going to fade away a little bit from the original bridge of the Combs, because ever since coming back from that ambush out in the nebulae of the Shackleton Expanse by the hated House Varoth, the crew of the Combs have been put on shore leave, essentially, whilst Starfleet intelligence comes around, and Klingon intelligence too, actually, now that I think about it. Come around and start interviewing everybody for everything that they experienced during that fight. Not that they're accusing anybody of anything, but it seems like for the most part the intelligence community just want to go back over all of your sensor logs in order to see if it really was House Varoth and all those Klingon houses that they claim, the ones that seceded from the Klingon High Council and have gone rogue, essentially. So you guys have been enjoying some downtime as a result of being sat down and questioned again a couple of times by different parties just to make sure that your stories all hold up. And, well, eventually we get ourselves to Narendra Station, where, if I can just find Narendra Station. Narendra Station is not loading. Here we are. Where each of you, currently stationed on Narendra Station, have been summoned to the Operations Center. Let's just let this load. It's taking its sweet time. Okay. So, you've all been on shore leave. The ship has been towed away for inspection and for repairs and upkeep and whatnot. So you haven't been back on the combs in some time. But what each of you have been noticing slowly over the last couple of days is a lot more officers running about. There have been a fairly steady stream of Starfleet and Klingon ships docking at Narendra Station and offloading personnel, a lot of whom are now busily running about the place, stocking up on various materials, and basically wherever you go in Narendra Station at the moment, there's always somebody in a uniform, either Klingon or Starfleet, running past you in the opposite direction, usually with data pads in their hands, and seems to be very active these days. And eventually, the Combs command crew are summoned to the Operations Center, and as you can see, besides the usual operations officers, you've got Admiral Sobek and General Kargan on the main ops station, plinth, or what have you. And so, when all five of you actually do enter onto the Operations Center, Kargan and Sobek are having a brief conversation when Sobek looks over his shoulder at you and just beckons you forwards. Greetings, Captain, Commanders. It has been a number of days since you were last debriefed in regards to the attack on Convoy SE-119. How have you been finding it? That good. Excellent. We have something of an announcement to make in your regard. The recent modifications that you have made over the past couple of months in regards to the Combs itself has made a number of parties interested in an ongoing discussion, especially in Starfleet, of the nature of the readiness of the Starfleet as a whole to engage in hostile actions against opposition polities. The conflict against the Klingons notwithstanding, we still have ongoing situations developing with the Dominion. And of course there are still the Romulans and other aggressive polities to be wary of. In this regard, we have opted to engage in something of a secret plan. Ever since the Klingon Federation War finished, in an effort to try and smooth out relations between both polities, General Kargan and I have been quietly working on something which was, quite frankly, expedited by your somewhat interesting arrival after the assault on Convoy SE-119. The fact that you towed in a Navar-class battlecruiser into the docking area was nothing short of, shall we say, sensational. It caused quite a stir. This also brings me on to a somewhat relevant secondary discussion point that I wanted to bring up. I was your captain for a brief period of time. During that period, one thing became increasingly obvious to me. As a Starfleet captain, I was engaged very much with the idea of being a scientist and an explorer, someone interested in the workings of the universe. But, excuse me a second, I've just sorry. Whilst this was going on, my wife and daughter were just rifling through one of the old playhouses, and it turns out doing so was a bad idea because bees have apparently made their nest in there.
Oh.
And so it's just as well that I didn't go digging around in there because, yeah, the bees are now somewhat unhappy that someone has just pulled some of the stuff that we were storing in there out. So I've just had them both run back into the house because there's bees everywhere. Shoot. Sorry! We didn't know you were in there. I mean, damn, and there are a lot of bees. Nobody's been stung, have they? No, you're all good? Okay. Best leave them to it? I know, but is it worth being stung over? I'm not being stung, thank you very much. Jeez. Yeah, sorry about that brief interruption, but goddamn, you did not see the number of bees that just came out of that place. Jeez. Okay. Plus, bees are slightly are getting to be slightly endangered now, so we want to keep them, you know, happy.
There's
Oof.
you know, people who I can't remember what do they call people who keep bees? I can't
Beekeepers.
remember
Beekeepers.
now. Yeah, sorry. I couldn't remember.
There's no
the
special name for them, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Is it not apiarist or?
Ooh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Apiaries for birds.
I was going to say.
No, apiarist. With a P, not aviar.
It's
Yeah,
a good point. Somebody look that up. Anyway, go on, Dave.
I just typed in apiarist into a Kojir and it came up straight to beekeeper. So I guess
there you
it's how posh you're feeling, whether you want to be a beekeeper or an apiarist.
I see.
Avarian. Avarius.
Well, I was gonna say most beekeepers, if you do have like a beehive, they're very good at getting the bees and putting them in a new home nowadays. But you have to look for the right ones. Because bees are necessary.
Oh yes.
I
Josh
love
is
bees.
a beekeeper, but I don't know if I'd trust him to do anything.
Well, I wouldn't trust Josh with most things, to be honest. But
It's not there
okay.
yet.
Yeah, it's weird. Just from where I'm sitting, they pulled out one of my old jackets, and it seems like they've made part of their nest in one of the pockets. So there you are. The official and technical name for a beekeeper. You can also call them honey farmers or apiculturalists. Culturists. There we go. Don't ever say that episodes of Star Trek, even Star Trek Adventures, are not educational.
But yeah, man, best thing to do is find somebody who will like get basically a new home, a new hive for them.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just find the queen, have a beekeeper come take the queen, and the hive will follow her.
We will see about that later. But as fascinating as that was, let me get back to what I was saying with with Admiral Sobek. So, as a ship designer, my main intention with helping create the Intrepid class was for, as you might already be aware, deep space science missions, exploration. That was the whole point and purpose of the Intrepid class. However, as time went on, as serving as your captain, it became somewhat obvious we were coming across more defense-related situations as much as we were coming across science expeditions. And, after having handed over the reins to Captain Hopkins, it appears to be fairly evident that you yourselves, as a crew, were more martially inclined, as opposed to scientifically inclined. With those thoughts in mind, I found myself, as new Admiral of Starfleet Operations on Narendra Station, with a lot of time on my hands, and as such, found myself employing my tried and tested means of applying science, that is, starship design. With collaboration from General Kargan, we believe we have hit upon a new class and design of starship that speaks to the strengths of both Starfleet and Klingon Defense Force ethos. So, after you graciously supplied us with additional, shall we say, materials in the form of the Navar-class battlecruiser, we decided to enact our shipbuilding project sooner than anticipated. As such, it is our combined honor to present to you with your new command. At which point, Sobek nods to one of the other officers currently managing traffic, starship traffic in the area, and they signal for someone to initiate a big reveal. And what originally looked like just a mishmash of cargo, a massive amount of cargo crates, like a big supply convoy moving together as one, starts to disengage all of the outer protective veneer, and inside is your brand new ship, the design of which you helped build yourselves, the appearance of which you've now all agreed upon. Behold the Kittimer class Combs A. And I believe it is time for us to give you the tour. Try not to break it, Tavish. Yes.
No promises.
So, of course, it comes, well, it's such a huge ship that it can't actually dock in the docking port, so you have to transport over to it. But the first place we have to take you is gonna be... Now, where did I put it? The new bridge. That is the original USS Combs. This is the USS Combs A. There it is. The new bridge, as you can see, is quite humongous. So overall, you have science. The sciences have their own area over yonder, with head of science having her own chair. Engineer and engineering comms ops have their own side hustle within this location here, with chief engineer having the prime position yonder. Your operations officer sits next to helm and navigation. You have got the councillor, and you've got dual tactical stations. One for your tactical officer, one backup tactical station. Mostly for your security officer to be able to coordinate. Why do I have to sit next to the councillor? You're not sitting next to the councillor, you're across from the councillor.
I am next to the councillor. If anyone should be complaining, it's me.
Yeah. And the captain's seat has is a slightly raised part, so the captain is higher than than the first officer and the councillor. So
hold on, I just got to change this. Do you mind?
Change what?
Change what? The councillor's the engineer?
Hang on.
No, I think Tavish is rerouting. Would reroute.
I will put the councillor back.
Yeah. Hey, on the upside, if our ship actually does have we have civilians on board, the councillor might actually do her job and do a good job.
Right, so neither Zippy nor Tiny actually have stress bars as it stands, but nevertheless. So, yes, Admiral Sobek gives you the tour, and it basically breaks down thus. Yep, obviously the first thing you get is your new bridge, which, of course, I had to borrow the bridge layout from the Sovereign class. So, huge space! And this also explains why there are a lot more Starfleet and Klingon officers roaming about, because you have a chuck lot more staff now to manage than you did before. Whereas before you had a crew of about, what was it, 200, 300?
About 200.
200 on the Intrepid? Yeah, triple that now. For this. This is a huge ship with about 600 crew. And that's just the crew. You have... Let me get the list of decks out.
And now if we had Phlesk's family, it would match our crew. Compliment.
Oh, yes. I mean, we already went through this on the Let's Build a Ship episode, but if I bring up your new ship and its information, due to the traits you chose, this has the Universal Systems Interface. So rather than using an LCARS system, it uses a system that is new to pretty much everybody, that everybody will have to learn, at which point Admiral Sobek hands over a very big, chunky pad to Commander Phlesc. Congratulations, Commander. As First Officer, it will be up to you to help train the officers in how to use the Universal Systems Interface. Here is the manual.
Hopkins would just slightly chuckle at this.
Oh, okay.
It's a big chunky one. It's a big pad, which suggests there's a lot more information on it than a usual pad. You get a nice little welcome. Bing bong boom. Welcome to your Universal Systems Interface manual.
You're gonna do fine, Phlesc.
Tavish is just pointing at Phlesc, laughing.
Oh, Hopkins is trying not to make it obvious that she's chuckling, but it's failing.
Good luck with that, Phlesc.
Says Tavish
Thanks,
from
Tavish.
all the way on her new position on the bridge. And yeah, Chief Science and Chief Engineer both now have these very big, wide-ranging interfaces now, because they've got a lot to manage and a lot more information coming at them.
I've got 3 of those big data pads. and that's 3 of 10. What?
So, yeah, I mean, Tavish, Gerkow, you've got so much. Your interfaces wrap around you almost in a way. So you know your chairs actually have to move to be able to slide from side to side, so you can get to the entirety of your interface should you need to.
Alright. For the first half an hour, that is Tavish doing that.
Wow.
Moving from side to side.
Just zooming back and forth.
Yeah.
Yep, and of course, just like previous whatevers, there's a specialized medical interface that can be activated on the science side of things for Dr. Sott when he wants to attend bridge. So he's got his own station.
Where is Doctor? Oh.
There he is, all the way over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see him for a moment.
You couldn't spot the beard?
No, I couldn't spot the magnificent beard.
Lies. Lies and half-truths. In any case...
No, they're too distracted by Tiny and Zippy dogpiling on the Chancellor.
Yeah. The Councillor gets all the best jobs. Right, so the dealio with this ship is that it's been made in a modular fashion, so that parts of it can be technically like unbolted and rebolted, so that it's any further modifications to the ship should be easier to make if you wanted to swap out systems or rejig the layout of certain certain parts of the ship and certain ship systems functions. There's also the rather obvious notion of is if there's going to be Klingons serving on this ship, then the ship itself on its interior design needs to be just as sturdy as its exterior design. Plus, you also went to the trouble of having it so that there are a lot of backup EPS conduits. So everywhere on the ship has been designed in such a way so that you can fit, like in the crawl spaces between rooms and between decks, you can fit more power throughput as well as more safety areas for those who are traveling through the guts of the ship to be able to repair things more easily, pull stuff out and plug new things back in, kind of jobby, if that makes any sense. Your Flight Operations Control Center is essentially the bit, the very tip top, but at the rear of the ship. That's essentially the person who manages that area is the one who controls the flight plans and coordination of your smaller craft, which you do now have a runabout to add to your ship's complement. So not only do you have the... Ooh, what is the name of your little ship again? The Gweetchar. Not only do you have the Gweetchar, but you also have a runabout, as well as Shutty the Shuttle.
Yay.
Oh yes, we have Runny the Runabout.
Oh, I forgot we named the runabout Runny.
Did you name the runabout Runny, or...?
We did, yes. Well, Connie named it Runny the Runabout.
We're so imaginative. We are so imaginative.
When it comes to names, we're on a whole different level.
Runny the Runabout. I mean,
we're so ahead of our time as well.
I didn't want that. I wanted to change the name of this ship, but instead I gave it its UID instead. That was a big whoops. So we now have Runny the Runabout, the imaginatively named Class 2 vessel. So stuff like that, unless you actually allocate somebody to be the flight controller, for the moment that job can pretty safely go to Lian Zhang because she's the navigation and helm officer anyway.
Makes sense.
But if you ever wanted to create an entirely different support character that was in charge of running smaller ship operations, then yeah, that's a position that can be filled. The command bridge is slightly lower than the flight operations control area, which is situated at the back, like I just said. Therefore, technically, the bridge sits on deck 2. Decks on this ship are a lot thicker than regular ships of the line. Therefore, there are, for a big ship, it's got actually not a huge amount of decks. But the stuff that you imagine is on deck 2 is on deck 2. So you got the main shuttle bay launch doors. You've got your main command bridge, which is where we are at the moment. The captain's ready room, of course, is here on deck 2. The briefing room, you now have a big enough briefing room that it's its own place, rather than just having this little side room off from the bridge. Complete with hologrammatic display in the middle of the table. And the aft torpedo launcher is deck 2, but the higher aft section. The officers' mess is on deck 3, and as the name suggests, only the main officers are able to go there, but this also includes the Klingon officers too, so... Officers' quarters and the primary computer core and the mess hall are on deck 4, but the mess hall is for everybody, and it's reinforced because Klingons. So you have a reinforced mess hall on deck 4. Sickbay, along with the science labs, will be on deck 5, along with the primary computer core and the chief science officer's office. The chief medical officer's office is also on deck 5, and the counselor's office is on deck 5. Now this is where things get a little bit weird and wonky. You guys chose to have EM weapons. An EM or an ionic array for your mid-range weaponry. As such, most of Deck 6 is given over to the generation and projection matrices of these electromagnetic emitters. Mostly because they're quite powerful and they need to be shielded from causing havoc on the rest of the ship. So most of Deck 6 is given up to the shielding side of things, as well as the generation of that primary weapon system. Then there's Deck 7, otherwise known as the Klingon deck. On Deck 7 there are the animal pens, where Tiny can go running with the rest of the Targs. There's also the combat arena, where the Klingons and anybody who wants to try their luck in the combat arena can go.
So all I'm hearing is, when not on duty, that is where the captain is.
Klingon officer quarters are going to be found on Deck 7 as well, rather than on the main command officer quarters. So essentially you've got the Starfleet officers have their quarters one place on the ship, and the Klingon officers have their quarters elsewhere on the ship, because otherwise you're risking chaos. And bloodwine storage, most importantly, is on Deck 7. There's an entire cargo bay on Deck 7 dedicated to storage.
So now we know where Phlesc is going to be.
It's guarded around the clock.
What I'm hearing is that most of well, at least the captain and our first officer are going to be drunk on duty. Who's going to tell the first officer and the captain no?
Well, quite. Although
and most of the Klingons as well. So good luck if there's any engineering.
Well, you know, Dr. Sott still has the ability to declare officers unfit based on medical status. So Dr. Sott is fully able to tell Phlesc and Hopkins no, based on if they're, you know, pissed.
It brings me no pleasure, I promise.
Why the grid?
Okay, so maybe that statement was a lie, but I grinned. Anyway. Let's see. Deck 9 is where your civilians are housed. And this is kind of important because not only do the civilians have their quarters on Deck 9, there's also a school for any families. There's the main holodeck located on Deck 9 because, well, let's face it, that's where the civvies are and that's where most of it's going to get used. The Arboretum is also going to be found on Deck 9 because a lot of the civilian scientists will be coming along and will probably be engaging in that kind of stuff. But the civilian deck of Deck 9 is also keyed to work so that in like a yellow or a red alert situation, internal transporters will immediately transport civilians into Deck 9, and Deck 9 will then get essentially armoured doors shut all around it so that Deck 9 becomes pretty much isolated and armoured. so that there's less likelihood of during a battle that any civilians are actually hurt. Anything else? Oh yes, Deck 10. Deck 10 is one to be aware of because that's where the transphasic torpedoes are stored. You are told pretty much from the outset that this is a weapon system that was developed by Dyneth, now Officer Dyneth. She has been granted a rank with the Klingon Defense Force again. So she is now an officer. Officer Dyneth has created a brand new weapon system. Two new weapon systems. Both of which are being sported by this monster of a ship. The transphasic torpedoes are a brand new and, shall we say, experimental class of torpedo that need constant monitoring and extremely safe storage. So, needless to say, you need authorization to get into the transphasic torpedo storage, and any engineering crew that need to see the place need to be specially trained in their handling. So, Tavish, that's another job for the chief engineer. There's going to be more.
Can I just put like a warning out to our crew, and say, do not ask Tavish to modify transphasic torpedoes like you have been doing on the old combs, please.
Also, in small print, maybe, if I start talking about doing it, stop me.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Cool. So that's something to be wary of. Now,
Tavish has to have 2 signatures, one from the captain and one from the first officer, to go in there and actually do stuff.
so you're probably talking security is outside of the torpedo storage at all times. Engineering. Main engineering now comprises of 2 decks. There's upper engineering and lower engineering. Engineering, for the most part, is on the lower end of things. And you know what? Let's take you there now. Engineering lower. Welcome to your humongous engineering area. Again, I stole this from the Sovereign class. But as you can see, Klingon and Starfleet engineers all over the place. Mostly because, as we've mentioned previously, as I think we've mentioned previously at least, if you are using Klingon cloaking device, you need Klingon engineers on hand. That's part of the treaty that was signed in regards to this ship. If this ship is going to have a Klingon cloaking device, it needs to have Klingon personnel on board in order to help manage it. So, you have, engineering upper, there's not much more to see. It's mostly a taller deck. But it's because the warp core itself is so big that it's 2 stories.
Wow.
Just
So
a
how
question.
Tavish feels about this, I don't know. Sorry, go on.
Will the cloaking technology be proprietary to the Klingons, or will they share that with us?
Well, technically it's proprietary to the Klingons.
Okay.
Technically.
Get in there, Tavish.
Tavish won't have too much in the way of will probably know its specs, but won't have too much, will leave like a Klingon, like a few Klingon engineers to, you know, monitor that, maintain it, and repair it if needs, basically.
If Johnny Romulan asks us anything, we have no idea.
I have yet to meet a Romulan called Johnny, but just for that, I am going to introduce one.
You want to know how Tavish would feel about her engineering deck?
Absolutely.
Engineering decks. She'll probably, when she first goes onto the engineering decks and sees that the warp core is now 2 stories high, there'll probably be a lot of salivating.
Okay.
Looking at the engineers, she brings in a strict rule that her hyperspanner rule of getting people to do work is only for Starfleet. She's learnt a lesson from. She's learnt her lesson from being on the Klingon ship. What was it called?
You were on the Mapui, weren't you?
Yeah, on the Mapui, when she started threatening other Klingons.
Right, she doesn't want it to be mistaken for getting friendly, right? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So until they realise that this is not her being friendly, this is her actually being really mean and getting them to actually do their work. So there will be a complementary class of this is how I run my engineering department. If I throw a hyperspanner at you, it's not me being overly friendly. It's me telling you to do your job.
Okay.
But apart from that, she's really happy. She's literally just going around. She's gonna plug in Nilo at some point, but that will probably be like after like a few days of her probably reading through all the manuals and stuff.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
And she'll also connect Nilo to the manuals as well, and so she has a grasp on all the information.
Excellent. Okay, anything else? Yes, actually.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know how our chief science officer and our chief and our doctor, chief medical officer, both have offices. Do I have an office?
Yes. It's called engineering.
Okay.
No, you do have an office. It will be on probably deck 13. You know, lower engineering.
Yeah.
Which actually is a good point. Can I edit this? I neglected to put that in, so it's probably a good point. Let's add Chief Engineer's office to deck 13. So yes, engineering comprises deck 12 and 13. Now, deck 14 and 15 are the interesting ones, and these need special attention, especially by the Chief Engineer, according to Dyneth, your tactical officer. One of the main weapons that this ship is equipped with is, of course, the graviton cannon, which is slung underneath the bottom of the ship. So it's the ventral side of the ship. The graviton cannon is such a power-hungry beast that it needs its own engine core to run. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of ships these days that have been coming off of the conveyor belt, as it were, have had like a minor secondary warp core to be used as a reserve being fitted just in case the main core goes offline or needs to be jettisoned and that kind of thing. But in the case of this massive ship and its ridiculous weaponry, specifically the graviton cannon, you do have a reserve warp engine core. It's just that at a time of war, rather than being a backup core, it can be switched over to power the graviton cannon. Therefore, Deck 14, as well as being things like antimatter storage, and I hasten to note Gerkow's Neural Parasite Containment and Research Center, which, according to previous specifications, can be jettisoned into space in an emergency.
I don't know why you would ever need to, I mean.
Well, indeed. But nevertheless, that is on Deck 14, pardon me. That's on Deck 14, along with the Graviton Field Generator and the Reserve Warp Engine Core that powers it. So, and yes, Deck 15 is the Graviton Cannon itself. So really, there's not much room to go into the Graviton Cannon except to conduct repairs and maintenance and whatnot, so no one actually tends to get stationed on Deck 15. But there we are. Deck 15 comprises that one weapon system, so it gives you a clue as to how whopping it is. So that's the main run of the layout of your new ship. Yes, Liz, you're quite right. I should have done that instead, shouldn't I? Never mind. Never mind. So, Admiral Sobek and General Kargan both very proudly introduce you to, give you formal command now over the Combs A. And so, it's up to you guys to now give it its shakedown cruise. And so, we cut to several days later. Commander Phlesc is in his quarters. Phlesc, has he invited any of his family to live aboard Combs A with him at all?
No, they'd still be on their registration, because this is now more of a combat ship. I don't think you'd be bringing them along on a combat ship. So how Phlesc perceives this vessel, it's more dangerous.
Alright. Even though it's got a reinforced civilian section.
It's also a break for Phlesc. He keeps getting in trouble. But the reason is it's a hostile vessel.
Yes.
That's the reason it gives them...
Go on, Connie.
I like the idea of Phlesc's family being like, oh, you're getting a bigger ship, we can come on now, isn't it? And then he'll be like, oh, no. Don't know, it's too dangerous.
The funny part is he can blame it on the captain, because the captain said only his immediate wife and children, not his entire family, because dear lord.
Oh, he's not brought them out either, it's just, no. Because then he's playing favoritism, and he'd just get in more trouble.
Well,
like I said, you can always blame it on the captain, because dear lord, your family's too big.
Not wrong.
You think that would go down well? It won't. It's easier just not to have any of them, and he does get a bit of a break. He has to focus on this whopping great manual he's got to read.
Speaking of,
yes.
Several days later, we come across Commander Phlesc, who gets woken up by his alarm, which this is the backup alarm because he missed the first alarm. The backup alarm goes off louder and starts monkeying with the environmental controls in the room to make sure that he gets up. As it's another day, and we're like 4 days into this shakedown cruise, and Phlesc has not been getting much sleep due to the sheer amount of training that has to be done for everybody using the Universal Systems interface, and the fact that as First Officer, you now have a shed load more crew to manage. So you have department reports to go over, scheduling reports to go over, and all of that lovely management stuff with which to greet your day to, which has been making Phlesc so tired recently that he's been sleeping in, so he had to get an additional alarm set.
I should really promote Zonvagor so I can get some more assistance.
Well, if you want to promote Zonvagor to being second officer, then that might be an idea.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Phlesc goes through his morning routine, getting dressed, and stumbles out of his quarters to be immediately accosted by one of the junior officers. Sir! Phlesc looks back to notice there's a queue of people waiting outside of his quarters. We have the maintenance report you asked for. Can I get a sign off, please, sir?
Yes, of course. Give me a chance to read them.
Gone. Get out of my way. Okay, now, give me a chance to read them. So, yeah, maintenance reports from deck, whatever, about system, whatever, choose your own ones. All great. Then you get somebody sent up from engineering, because, let's face it, Tavish wouldn't do this herself. Reports on systems readiness for the overall warp core, and, of course, the monitoring that has to be signed off on the transphasic torpedoes. Not to mention the constant monitoring that has to happen on the cloaking device. So that needs to be signed off and then sent off to the Klingon Empire as well. So Phlesc has a journey to get to the turbo lift in order to get any kind of peace whatsoever.
He's going to walk along with the entourage of requests. Is that yes? Okay, what next? All right, thank you. Oh, look, the turbo lift's here. Sorry, everyone.
And so, what else do we have? Well, it's essentially everybody managing their own departments. Now, Dr. Sott, before, had something of a, shall we say, smaller office. Let's compare, shall we? This is what sickbay used to look like. If I can just get this to load. There we are. This is what sickbay used to look like at one time or another, complete with old versions of character portraits and whatnot. So, you know, not huge. But that was then. This is now. Dr. Sott has space for his own office.
Damn. I like what you've done with the place.
So, yes, this is essentially taken from the schematics of a Galaxy-class ship. So you've got... Dr. Sott's got his own office, and there are 2 medbays, one either side. So, you know, if you wanted to, you could start populating this with extra nurses. There's a wall in the way, I'm afraid, so it's going to have to go between the doors.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And this is probably to Chris as well. Would there be Klingon medical staff?
Well, that is a good question.
Yeah, there probably could be. I'm open to the, medical school of percussive maintenance.
Nice. I like it. Alright, then we'll have to, we're going to have to supply you with some Klingon nurses, then. Oof. That sounds like something that should be on an Article 34 website, so the less said about that, the better. I'll move on. Right. Anybody got any questions about their new place layout? Oh. Let me see. The medical bay is much bigger. The mess hall looks more or less like it did. We've got this kind of layout for officers' quarters. So obviously this is a senior officer quarters, and these are two slightly junior officers' quarters. So the higher rank you are, the bigger space you've got.
And the more windows you have.
And the more windows, yes, you actually get windows. Let me see. The mess hall looks pretty much like it did before, except all of the furniture is bolted down.
I wonder why.
Indeed. So, and the port glass is shatterproof and reinforced and has a force field. So what have you. Oh yes, of course. Welcome to the combat arena. So you have your own little fighting pit arena type place on the ship for your amusement. Same stuff you had before as well, with neural parasite research and containment, otherwise known as Gerkow's Dr. Frankenstein lab.
It's my old friend.
I have a token in here. Just
Only darkness.
yeah, only dark. Oh, there you go.
Cool. Well, only those on a need-to-know basis can actually see anything in here. And Gerkow says you don't need to know.
Is this our black site?
Well, could be. So, the fewer people that know exactly what goes on in here, the less protests you might actually get. So, yeah.
I feel like we do our enhanced interrogation techniques down here, too.
Indeed. No problem, miss. So, yeah. Folks have new digs, but some of the stuff is the same that you've seen before, which makes a certain degree of sense because, standard Starfleet stuff will look more or less the same, but those are most of the new digs that you've got going for you. So, back to the bridge. Liz is gone for the minute, but you have essentially been on a, like I said, shakedown cruise for the last couple of days, just running the new ship through its paces. Mostly it's been dealing with the frustration of an unfamiliar interface system, so pretty much most of Phlesk's time is spent answering questions about the new interface. Which, considering the fact that Tavish downloaded this into Nihil and probably is the better person to be asking this question to, and yet she won't take these questions, says as much as you probably need to know about Tavish as much as anything else.
An expected limitation.
So, yes, you guys have been cruising around. Now, one of your thoughts, if I recall, in having the EM weaponry on this ship was because you come across so many electromagnetic anomalies in the Shackleton Expanse. Having a weapon system that uses that kind of thing could be either beneficial or potentially catastrophic, depending on how it's used. But nevertheless, one of the main reasons for this joint venture between the Federation and the Klingons is exploration of the Shackleton Expanse. So this is why it was built. So this is why this ship is being employed currently. So you're taking the ship through its paces at present moment in time, whilst cruising the ship through some of the areas of the Shackleton Expanse that you've been before. Running the ship through its paces, making sure it can get through the various trouble spots that you have to travel through, like the washboard twins, as they call it, and other such, by now very familiar obstacles in the Shackleton Expanse. And it is while on one such investigation you're currently surveying a sector of the Shackleton Expanse which is dense in pulsars, swirls of electromagnetic radiation, and powerful gravimetric disturbances. Did I see? No, that was Chris that had just done a B right back. So now's a good time for Gerkow to test out the sensors on this ship.
Let's do this.
Now, ordinarily this would be a difficulty 0, but because you guys are still getting used to your new Universal Systems interface, I'm going to make it a difficulty 1. Because you need to try and remember which buttons to press. So, we are looking for reason and science, assisted by the ship's sensors and science. So, when we do a... remember to choose the correct starship, the Combs A. Which is good. 6 successes. 1 over and above what you needed. So, whilst scanning the area around you, let me switch our ambience a moment. Where are we? Just what's doing? Okay. Let's get some subspace ambience going. You do a sensor scan and find that many of the pulsars within scanning range appear to be new, formed within decades of each other, which is an unlikely natural event. Boop. Back. Okie dokie.
Unlikely natural event.
Indeed. It doesn't happen
Okay.
very often, if ever, in nature.
Someone up to some funny business, eh?
Well, indeed. If you'd like to investigate further, you can.
Captain? Oh, Captain is back. What say you?
First officer, I think you should investigate further.
Liz, is the Capitan up for further investigation? Come in, Liz. Are you with us?
We'll have to defer to the first officer.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go.
Does the Captain
Yeah,
wish
he
to
has too much to
explore
read.
this further? Yep, okay.
Yeah, well, we can.
I like the
Okay.
idea. It's like, not really feeling it right now, so...
Well, you know, you are still putting the ship through its
that's too
paces.
much. Oh, yeah. And honestly, probably security hates the captain right about now.
Go on.
Just, you know, making security do a bunch of random drills.
Well, I would say that half of the security people probably are maybe a little bit, not miffed exactly, but, you know, trying to get to grips with the new schedule, as it were. The Klingon contingent of the security force are probably well happy.
Except for the part where, if they don't do a good job, she does cut them off from their blood wine.
Ooh, harsh. Alright, well, if you want to investigate more, you can by essentially rolling the same stuff. Unless somebody else wants to
Get us more momentum, Gerkow.
Yes, man.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
reroll. Well, not a reroll. An additional roll of the same stuff. Da, 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 da.
Same again. Okay, not bad.
Momentum farming.
Indeedy. But, you know, I gave you the options, that's fine.
Thank
Alright, so your ship, unlike the last one, doesn't have anything to do with advanced sensors or anything like that, so you get what you get. But what you learn... sensors indicate that the gravimetric disturbances in this region of the Expanse have also increased in intensity over the last decade or more. Further, you pick up what you believe are trace evidence of coherent tetraionic filaments. Clearly something is happening here that is beyond traditional science.
Gerkow, can you work out what the probability of such an event is? Tell us what's going on.
Let's see. Can I?
Well,
Science.
yeah, go on. Give me a probability roll.
Okay.
This is just Gerkow herself now working out the angles on the data that she's just supplied.
Yes, what is your scientific bones telling you, Gerkow? What is
Can
happening?
I also ask, does anybody remember if they agreed to bond or at least get information from a member of the Tilical race called Turlanumian?
I don't remember.
Mm-mm.
Because I don't remember either, unfortunately.
No, same here.
Okay, for some reason I think it was Gerkow, and I'm going to stick with it, so... Because any of y'all seem like the types to just go,
Yeah.
yeah, you know
Probably
what,
was
let me
Gerkow.
share my brain with an alien.
Probably was Gerkow.
Has to be. Okay, so
That
if
is
this...
if it was his crew. It could have been the Klingon crew too.
Sure. That's a good point. It probably was the Klingon crew, wouldn't it? That's why I can't remember. Ah.
Oh wait, I think it was Madeline.
It was Bonnet, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That introduces its own wrinkle. Okay, no, that's fine. We can work with that. At least now I remember. That was the main thing. Okay. All right. Okay. So no one here. That's worth mentioning. Sorry, let me run that sentence back. I didn't mean as if to sound, there's no one here that's worth mentioning. I meant to put a comma in there. There's no one here, / so that's worth mentioning to myself. Okay.
No one here
cool.
worth.
So, with that probability check... Oh, you haven't made your probability check yet. Okay.
Not yet. Am I...
You don't necessarily have to, actually, because you are pretty damn smart.
Okay.
Get the momentum. Roll.
That's a good point. If you want to generate more momentum, then yeah, it's an opportunity to do so.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that.
So it'll be
blood
reason and
focus
science
just
with... Yeah, go on.
again.
2 again?
I'm on a roll.
Literally.
This is
As
it
long
now.
as- Yeah. Doink! Alright then, one more momentum. Alright. The patterns of these things, yeah, do not appear to be the kind of thing that occurs naturally. So it suggests it's not natural, therefore fabricated. This could, you think, perhaps, represent some of Ashtamalia's Tilical people attempting to pierce the veil between realities, and it's having some kind of secondary effect on space itself. So that could be what's causing all these random coherent spikes of energy. At least in this near vicinity. It's not immediately obvious if it's happening elsewhere as well. However, as you are studying this data, your communications officer, Ensign Ravalon, notes, "Captain, there is a signal. I'm picking up an audio-only distress signal from an unidentified vessel. Appears to be a short distance away."
Play the distress signal. See if what they need. They'll be on alert just in case it's a ambush.
Did Ensign Ravalon plays the message, and it's in a language nobody understands. It sounds like a feminine voice, but we can't establish what they're saying. You don't recognize the language, but seems to be somewhat distressed by the sound of their voice. Ravalon is there frantically hitting away at the command console in front of him, going, attempting to run language analysis, but the universal translator is having a difficult time, Captain. Is there a linguist?
Can Nylil help?
Question as well, besides Nylil helping. Can Hopkins pull up on her next to her console all of the recordings that we have of the language of the writings that we've discovered in the Shackleton Expanse, and using linguistics, see if she can identify that the language matches what was written down?
Ooh, interesting. I like that. Yeah, go ahead and give that a good old go. Let's see.
What? Oh.
What would that come under? Essentially reason and... Normally I'd say science for linguistics. The science of linguistics. So you might need some help here. It was suggested Nylil.
Nylil can help as well. Gerkow?
Yes, ma'am.
When it comes to science, there's certain people that...
When it comes to science, there's nobody better or more qualified.
Pretty much.
I was about to make a rather mean addendum there, but I'm not going to. Okay, so whoever wants to get involved in this, it is essentially an attempt at trying to aid a linguistics attempt. So this is going to be the science of languages, decryption, and the like, which I hasten to note Ensign Ravalon has got, but he will need to be activated in order to do so.
Oh wait, yes. Oh, you know what? That actually would help.
So
Yeah,
let
we'll bring Ravalon.
spend some crew support to have Ravalon along. Now,
Yeah, that might help.
he does have xenolinguistics as well as encryption decryption, so are we still keeping Gerkow on this because, you know, science?
Does Gerkow want to help?
Might as well.
It's going to cost you a momentum, though, because you got more than 2 people doing this.
We just have to get good enough rolls to get it back.
Exactly.
Okay. Can I get Chris? Can you be Ensign Ravalon for me, please?
Mm-hmm.
1 dice, reason and science, and he is using his focus of xenolinguistics, more than likely.
Cool. Boom.
God focus, God focus.
Yeah, ordinarily I'd say no, but because Captain Hopkins is making a direct correlation here to all the information you've picked up in the Shackleton Expanse and stuff like that, I will allow it, because that will help.
Oh, unfortunately.
Okay, but nevertheless, Ravalon got 2 successes in order to aid the captain's 1. Gerkow was just like, yeah, whatever. But that is 3, which nets you that 1 spent back. Okay, so essentially you start running through, and what actually helps the Universal Translator translate the language is if you can keep them talking. So Ensign Ravalon starts essentially speaking to the voice on the other side and keeps trying new things, as then you bring in the different data for him to start correlating. The Universal Translator all of a sudden kicks into use as it beeps a confirmation that it's finally translating the language, at which point does the captain want to try something to test if the translation works? Or does she want Ravalon to do it?
No, she'll test it by saying that this is Captain Hopkins of the USS Combs.
At which point, the voice on the other side.
Wait, I can understand you now. Incredible. I am Commander Mouty of the Akaru Explorer Starwood. An intense graviton wave has impacted my vessel. Our propulsion systems and primary shielding are inoperable. Most of my technical crew members died in the initial impact. We are adrift and require immediate assistance. May the Iriax guide you to us.
Ravalon turns around and goes, confirmation. We have no translation for the words Akaru, Mauti, or this Iriax. So we can confirm that they are probably actual names, Captain.
In the way that they said the last part, the Iriac is probably their god.
At
Or
first
whatever they were
blanch,
worshiping.
assume so, Captain, yes. I believe I've managed to pinpoint... No, that's wrong. I'm getting interference. It seems what they were talking about with graviton waves in the area, it's quite correct. I had their location, but now I've lost it. Suggest...
Work with
Yes, Captain.
work with engineering or science to filter it out and get their exact location.
Aye, sir. Right then, in order to try and get a fix, engineering or science or sensors, whoever wants to, can try and use the signal to pinpoint their location. This will require reason and science, assisted by the ship's sensors. And science, anybody good with sensors would probably be beneficial.
Zonvagor.
I hasten to point out the man himself, Zonvagor. So if you're activating Zonvagor, that's one more off of the list of crew support. Oh yes, in case I didn't mention it before, because you have a bigger scale ship now, you have more crew supporting cast members you can activate.
Oh.
So you have as many supporting characters that you can activate as you have scale. So whereas before you had only 4, now you have 6. So big ship means more peeps. So yes, you can activate Zonvagor, who does have sensors as one of his traits, but he also has, because like I mentioned, I have recently acquired the 2nd edition Species sourcebook from Modiphius, their most recent edition. We now have species talents for like the Bolians and the what is Zonvagor? He's a Benzite. So he has thorough and methodical, which means when he attempts a task using reason and purchases 1 or more dice by spending momentum, he can pick a single dice in the pool and treat it as if it had rolled the target number instead of rolling it. However, in order to do this, he may not spend any momentum to reduce the amount of time it took to perform this, neither can he use this if he's the first character to act in a round in combat. So, in this kind of instance, this would be ideal to use his thorough and methody, and I didn't spell it right. Cull, there's a C in methodical, Matt. Obviously I wasn't that methodical when I put it in. So he has the option of picking 1 of his dice to gain an automatic success. So essentially, do you want to activate Zonvagor and have him do it on his lonesome? Because it doesn't say anything about adding other people. He can still do it with his single roll dice if he's supporting somebody. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this.
I don't have a focus and sensors, but I've got a good science.
Anybody else want to volunteer themselves for this?
And we can have like 1 main to assisting, right? With Zonvagor assisting with his.
I think it'd be better. What's his engineering? And because it's control and engineering, right?
It's going to be reason and science.
Reason. Oh yeah, sorry, reason and science. Oh, in that case, I'm actually better than Zonvagor. So yeah, I'll lead and Zonvagor helps.
Now I'm assuming we are using his thorough and methodical, so don't even have to roll. We can just assume that he succeeds. So it's right down to a Phlesc roll then. You've automatically got 1 success.
3.
Why didn't I see that? There it is. 3! So ordinarily this would be a difficulty of 1, but once again, because you're using this dang new thing, it's actually difficulty 2, but you got 3, so that is 1 more in the pool. Nice. Very good. Who knew Benzites were so dependable? Especially when it came to reason. Zonvagor has a new superpower, it seems. Okay, cool. This is interesting, because now we're seeing various different members of the crew now bring up their strengths. Bring their strengths to the fore. So, with Phlesc coordinating with Zonvagor, you use the signal that Commander Mauti is sending you guys to pinpoint a ship. And indeed, yes, it appears to be deep within a well of gravimetric eddies and increasing electromagnetic radiation. So, the sooner you get out there to them, the better they'll be.
We've got a heading.
You do.
The captain's prepared in case of an ambush with security. I say we go.
Yep, plot a course.
Alright.
It is on you, Leo. Thank for that.
Into warp. So, yes, it doesn't take you particularly long to get there, and the initial bumpy ride that you expect in the Shackleton Expanse doesn't really happen because you guys are used to it by now. And big awesome new ship. However, you eventually get to the Fran Lambda system, which, let me just make sure I've got this configured correctly. No, I don't. So let's make it so you can see. The Combs A warps in, and you are greeted with an area replete with the flashing of electromagnetic phenomena and the pulsing and swooshing of various gravimetric eddies and the like. So, as you get closer, you realize that you are going to need to navigate a path through all these various eddies and whatnot in order to try and get to this other vessel safely. It eventually comes up on your sensors, this stricken ship. Fairly simplistic, though sleek design. Suggests potentially a recent spacefaring species, which explains maybe why it was just audio only on their distress signal. You're not sure yet. The spatial phenomena are still making it a bit difficult to get any definitive reading, and you probably will need to get closer in order to do so. But that means moving through the dangerous spatial phenomena. So essentially, this will make things rather difficult to get there. So your helm officer is going to need to be activated as well, unless somebody else wants to take the helm. Does the captain fancy her chances at guiding the ship through the
Not really. She fancies offering slight motivational speeches to help Zhang.
Okay. So, let's go back to the bridge momentarily. Oop, wrong one. We are looking at Deck 2 bridge. Back to the bridge we go. So, yes, we need your helm officer. So, let's see. We had Crispy Ravalon, so let's have Dave. Can you be Lian Zhang for us?
Yep.
This is going to be a control or daring and con task, assisted by the ship's engines and con. This is going to be difficulty 3, and the complication range is going to be 3 extra as well, due to the increased dangers of the local spatial phenomena.
Complication range is 3.
3, yes.
What do I need to roll the captain to give inspiration?
You might need the captain to give a bit of additional assistance, yes.
I can be very inspirational if I need to.
Sure she can. You've seen it. So, yes. Your choice, Dave. I mean, her control and daring are the same, so it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make much difference, pardon me, whether or not she goes for a more controlled approach or if she tries just winging it and flying by the seat of her pants.
Focuses would be navigation.
Yep, navigation or propulsion systems. I'd even be alright with subspace physics, given the way that these anomalies are interacting with space. So she's got her choice of foci to use, certainly.
She's got a talent called Bold Con.
Yes. Whenever you attempt a task from that department and you buy 1 or more d20s by adding to threat, you can re-roll a single d20.
Do we want to take that? I don't know if we've got enough to buy dice.
Well, you've got Lian Zhang aided by the ship and aided by the captain.
So that's only 4. So we have.
You can spend some momentum. Grab a dice.
Yeah, which would be the last dice we need. And I'm guessing the captain's rolling presence and command rate to be inspirational.
Sure, absolutely, that makes sense.
We're rolling 3 dice. Systems is engines.
For the ship, it is going to be engines and con, yes.
Engines and con. Okay, and it's the USS Combs A, yeah.
Correct. Please do not roll the Borg cube.
Aww.
As likely as a success would be using the Borg cube, yes, do not roll that
Wait,
one.
there's a Borg cube when it comes to shipping.
Holy.
Wait.
Whoa! Well,
Nice.
blimey.
Well, my first roll was amazing.
Major. It was. Bong, 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 bong. You get full momentum pull from that, and then some. Well, Lian Zhang, coupled with the captain's inspirational words, proves that she is an incredibly competent pilot. And she went for control, so yes, that was a very... Now, bearing in mind, up until this point, she has been used to steering a much smaller, sleeker, more maneuverable ship. Now she is steering something which is the equivalent of like an aircraft carrier through space. And she still managed it. So, yes, no small amount of congratulations go to the helm officer there for managing to steer the ship so well.
I had no doubts.
The dice gods heard me complaining earlier.
And went, you know
They
what,
also knew
sick
how
of
much
his...
trust I put in them.
Exactly. I'm sick of all this complaining.
I think that's
So-
my best ever roll, by the way.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. A 1, a 2, a 4. Those are good rolls, man. So, yeah, the Combs A manages to weave and wind its way around the various eddies and brings you up close to this new vessel. So, well done. Okay, so Commander Mouty comes over the horn again.
We can see your vessel coming in. That is you, correct, Captain Hopkins?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. We are going to be opening up our docking ports now. We will have our airlocks ready for your crew to use.
Airlocks? How quaint. Anything you want to do? Now that you're this
Can we
close to the
suggest?
ship? Go on.
Can we suggest that? No need. We'll just beam on.
At which point you get...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I like that. That response was basically, oh, how cute.
Hopkins is gonna look at the counselor. It's like, I think we might be having first contact. Write it down for records just in case.
It is certainly not a class of ship you have come across before, coupled with the fact that you hadn't met these people's language before now. Does actually, yes, suggest this could be a first contact situation.
And who better to record it than the counselor, because that's pretty much what she's good for.
Ooh. Harsh, but fair, I find. Right,
Yeah, I think we'll have a boarding party and beam on board.
just beam on board. All right then. Where do you want to aim for?
Their bridge. Hopefully that's where the commander is.
Yep. Okay. Let me just grab some of you guys then. In that case, let's see who have we got. Who's going? Who's going to be visiting?
The dream team.
You'll have to be more specific.
PCs.
Everybody. Yep.
If the captain wants it, the counselor can go and the science officer can stay on the Combs A.
You're already getting the voice. Go on.
Yeah, the counselor can go, and I was also thinking, who better than Gerkow while the captain goes? It's like, hey, first officer, you could go. You could have a break from the ship for a little bit.
So the captain is not going, she's sending the first officer.
Yeah, he needs a break.
Thank you, Captain.
Oh, Phlesc? Phlesc needs a break from the ship, but you're sending him on the first contact mission. Gotcha.
Be less stressful, easier to deal
Oh
with.
dear.
It's not a massive book.
Bearing in mind they have apparently suffered damage and apparently some injuries, so anybody else you want to send along except for Phlesc and Sax?
Yeah, of course.
EVA suits.
Just because at this point, isn't it?
First contact, it's best to be safe.
So, okay, Dr. Sott, Commander Phlesc, Councillor Sax, anybody else going?
Tavish.
Just in case.
Tavish.
Tavish, because she actually has historical engineering as a
Good
trait.
point. Anybody else?
And I was also
Oh,
thinking, wait, hey, who's our other characters? What other supporting characters we have?
Let
Gerkow?
me take you to the bridge.
You know, I almost feel sad. We'll bring Evasion along.
Welcome, Aversion. Ready.
Because he has assistants.
He does. That's a good point.
And I ask a really important question.
Go on.
Are we bringing the grav sled?
I should have seen that coming, really, shouldn't I?
We need to show off.
Alright, anytime you hear me say I've got a really important question, it's not an important question.
Well, now you're just making me question my entire, my entire reality here.
I'm sorry, Matt.
Are you? Are you really?
No.
Who's gonna do the wheelies?
Who's gonna be doing donuts around the around the bridge of this other ship in the grav sled?
Okay. Is it the grav sled that we have tricked out to make it look like that acts like a go-kart, or just a normal?
Well, this is a
Tavish
question
got
that needs asking.
Tavish got rid of that.
It was an abomination and needed to be destroyed?
No, she built a brand new one.
Okay.
I was about to
This
say
one-
she probably.
This one has a chassis and everything.
Oh, yeah, now I remember. Jeez. There we are. Serves me right. Okay, so obviously Mark is playing Phlesc, and Connie seems to have volunteered to be her breakout role of Councillor Sax. We got Chris being Sott, we got Tavish, so that pretty much leaves Liz. You're going to be Malcolm Aversion. If that's okay with you.
Diplomatic this time. I think this is the dream team for it.
Oh yeah, I was honestly between Dufresne or Version.
Okay.
Look, the dream team wasn't Tavish involved. It was Ensign Kenton, because that still makes me laugh.
I mean, we got killed in Evasion from the same mission.
No, she's not Ensign Kenton anymore. She's Cadet Kenton, isn't she?
Yes, she is Pariah Kenson. Which actually no. Okay. So these are your away team. So let's get them to the other ship. Doo-doo. Needless to say, as soon as these characters appear on the bridge of the Starwood, the crew are rather alarmed at the sudden appearance. But the woman in the center of this this vessel's bridge spins round in her chair as she hears the hum of the transporters, and as you complete transport, everyone's there looking at you with wide eyes. Oh my goodness. Who would you be?
I know you must be feeling bad. Actually, what am I sensing that they're feeling? What is Councillor Sachs sensing?
What is Councillor Sachs sensing? Okay, so it's essentially concern, because they're in a bit of a sticky pickle, but also an amount of anxiety due to the fact they are in a sticky pickle, and their ship is damaged, and they have people who are injured, if not actually dead. So, yeah, a lot of anxiety, bit of uncertainty. This, coupled with the fact that now that you look upon these people, there is something very, very Vulcan about their appearance. They don't have the brow ridges of Romulans, but then not all Romulans have brow ridges. And the fact that Councillor Sachs is feeling such obvious, strong emotions from these people, even though they look very Vulcan, might make you a bit suspicious at first. However, you don't sense, Councillor Sachs does not sense any duplicity in them, which immediately marks them off as being Romulans, so...
How she outlined, isn't it?
At least the happy Vulcan, some enterprise.
Okay.
Well. Who wants to go first, essentially?
Just say, we are the delegation sent from Captain Hopkins. I know you must be feeling very anxious, and there has been several casualties on your ship, so we are here to help.
Okay. Commander Mouty, just is looking at... How did you... You were out there, and now you're in here. We had our airlocks ready to... And you just... That's remarkable. May I present myself, Commander Mouty, captain of the Akaru vessel Starward. These are what remain of my bridge crew currently.
Hello.
Your technology is impressive.
Social how?
Sorry, what did you say there?
I said, so's your hat.
So's your hat. Right, I thought you said so's your ham, and I'm thinking that's the last thing I expected you to say. Your ham for an alien is quite good. Yeah. So's your hat, at which point she just kind of puts her hand up on the conical helm she's wearing. Oh, thank you. You people do not wear helmets for your commanding officers?
No, they usually have the rank insignia in here. Evasion would like tap where his rank is.
I see. Well, we definitely are in need of your assistance. I have about 74 crew aboard in total. Many of them are wounded. We have another 20 who are dead due to the disaster we got impacted with and the resulting damage that followed. Our FTL drive is currently offline, and our engineering section is in need of definite repair. Any and all assistance you could render would be greatly appreciated.
Commander Phlesc.
Yep.
Maybe give us some orders.
You dude, you're in charge. Do in charge stuff.
We brought a
Malcolm's
doctor.
just like holding the tricorder, ready for
Yeah.
orders.
I'm just the ensign. Go on,
We
sorry.
brought a doctor with us. We can tend to your wounded. In the meantime, what's stopping your ship from moving? Is there anything we can do to help?
We took damage, mostly to the engineering section when we hit some kind of gravitational anomaly. Our FTL drive has been rendered effectively destroyed, I think. It's difficult to tell. A lot of the people we lost were in the engineering section. We're still trying to get a more accurate picture as to who exactly is injured or killed.
Matt.
Off you go, Tavish.
Yep.
Matt.
Yo.
FTL.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that pretty much like
Faster than
our-
light.
Yeah, I know it's faster than light. Is it like our warp engines and stuff?
Well,
Or is
You
it...
have to go and find out.
you would have to investigate what principle they are using for faster than light travel. Yes.
Okay.
It's in
Inversion?
Evasion's gonna be. Do you mean your warp core, or something else?
Commander Mounty goes, I'm sorry, what? Warp core? It's a term I'm unfamiliar with.
Just show me to if you wouldn't mind somebody showing me to the engineering section. I'm the chief engineer on board our ship.
Oh, excellent. We could definitely use your assistance.
Good luck, Commander. You might need it.
I don't need luck, I'm that good. She walks off with her what's she got now? Her custom tool set.
Yes.
Evasion's also gonna mumble on his breath. Very modest, apparently.
God,
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
am.
He's used to being around Gerkow, therefore he's probably just used to arguing every point. And, being around Gerkow in general.
I mean, awesomeness. Yes.
Well, far be it for me to say otherwise. So, yeah, this is the point where Eversion's going, yeah, now I'm starting to see why the engineering guys are the way they are. Not like us tough and ready science folk.
Tavish will go, Phlesc, Commander Phlesc, if I do need some assistance down there once I've got the lay of the land, would you mind coming down to help? I'll contact you over comms.
Yep. Get down there and work out what the situation is. If most of the casualties are in engineering, if you could take Dr. Sott with you, let's see what we can do about helping them out.
Commander, Commander! I'd
Yes,
like to
Chancellor.
request the room so I can counsel the injured and traumatized crew members of the ship. We're going to sing Kumbaya.
Oh God. Yes, that would be very, very helpful, Counselor. You do that.
Okay. There's playing a stereotype, and then there's beating that stereotype over the head with malice.
Phlesc is not going to stop the Counselor from going away. He's going to let that happen. She's their problem now. Phlesc is going to ask for
Yes.
sort of a tour of the bridge to better understand how they got here, what they're doing, and what they're about.
Okay.
Stop.
What was the help? Go and help.
Yeah,
Commander Phlesc will do the diplomacy. The help will go help.
Oh, hold on. 1 minute. Phlesc doing diplomacy.
Yes.
I don't think. No. It did no.
It works so well.
He's wearing his EV suit.
God.
Will he even shake hands with the people?
Exactly.
For as far as they know, this is my skin.
Well,
Tavish does have her EV suit on because I thought we were going in EV suits.
so it's not just Phlesc then, okay.
Yep. Well, we didn't know what we were walking into.
What's the air like, by the way? Is it?
It's It's breathable.
Does it,
You know.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, the air does exist. Yes. Okay. So overall, what are folks doing? So Tavish and Phlesc, Tavish and Sott are going in the direction of the engineering department in order to fix the fix the engines and see to the wounded. Whereas the council
Fix the
is
engines
doing
and
her
fix the
thing.
engineers.
Phlesc is just talking with Commander Mouty to get the skinny, and Diversion is doing what?
He's going to try to get on one of the consoles and try to figure out the best way to remodulate the shields to protect the ship from further stellar phenomenons from affecting it.
That's cool. Yep. All right. Cool. Right. Okay. Let's deal with Phlesc first. The information he learns. The Akaru, as they call themselves, they are recent starward explorers. They have developed their space program within the last decade or so, and have only recently begun exploring the outer reaches, the outer reaches of their own solar system and beyond. The Starward is one of the first ships that they created, and therefore this crew are essentially one of the pioneers, as it were, one of the first deep space crews to venture out and see what's there. It's just unfortunate that this particular region of space is replete with gravimetric disturbances and EM radiation, so never mind. According to the commander, they hail from an M-class planet called Setu, which is approximately, according to your calculations, 3 days away at around about warp 5. I will get to the engineering side of it in just a moment.
How long did it take them to get here?
Yeah, 3 days.
Okay, so they're traveling warp equivalent.
Now, let's get to Dr. Sott and Tavish when you guys get to engineering. I mean, the place doesn't look that much different, but let me grab your tokens anyway, just to give you a look. As I bring you into the place. It's being rather slow today. Don't know if it's just me. So, when Tavish and Sott arrive, the place is, well, it's not the burnt out, on fire kind of deal you expected, but nonetheless, there are a number of Akaru roaming about. The chief of which that seems to be giving the orders is this fellow, who appears to be messing with a remarkably compact engine core. The kind of thing you expected, Tavish, especially with your historical engineering, is for an early spacefaring species, they should have the equivalent of like a nuclear reactor essentially just taking up a huge amount of space on an entire deck or an entire section of the ship. Whereas these guys have got this incredible compact engine core generating power. So it's square, yes, it's very angular in its design, but it's also very compact. So remarkable, really. I mean, the engine room itself is not all that huge. It's got the stuff you usually expect to see in this place, like coolant and storage tanks for whatever they use to mix matter and antimatter together, if they even do that. But it seems they do. And so this guy introduces himself as Specialist Jumai. I took over command of the engineering section when our actual chief engineer unfortunately died in the impact. I need help trying to get the reactor core back online.
Okie dokie. I've never seen the design like this before. Oh, by the way, my name is Lieutenant Commander Lily Tavish. I am the chief engineer for the other ship.
Yes, I heard about the other ship.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about this? So, I have a idea of what I'm working with. Also, over here, and she points to Dr. Sott, this is our chief medical officer. Would you mind getting anybody with any kind of injuries and severe injuries to basically go and see him?
Of course. We do actually have a medical bay. Most of our injured are going to be escorted that way, but anybody I can spare to help transport more people. We can also show your Dr. Sott where our medical bay is.
Sott?
Hello.
So Sott essentially can get shown where their medical bay is, and it'll be a similar design to this place, remarkably compact, and yet has a lot of stuff that it can do. But before I get more into what Dr. Sott finds, let me get into what Tavish finds. As you were both getting escorted down through the ship's corridors to the engineering section, one thing you note is that the whole place is very, very compact. They've fitted a lot in to a place, as made it as small as they could possibly fit everything. But as a result, everything fits together modularly, very, very efficiently, very space efficient. This place.
Tavish likes it.
She does.
She likes modular stuff. Yeah.
That's good to know, because when you start opening up this engine core, you notice one or two things that actually raise your interest. Like I said, their reactor core is very similar to, in fact, is nigh identical in principle to an early warp core. They are using two different, mostly radioactive elements. The two different types of elements, the materials that you haven't come across before, which suggests that they are native to the Akaru's planet or their system. So, you know, brand new fuel source maybe. But they've managed to create this reactor in such a way that everything has been miniaturized to miniaturized to a point where it takes up as little space as possible, yet still functions at peak efficiency. The thing really... Go on.
Oh, no. Carry on. You may answer my question.
Really grabs Tavish's attention is how they've laid out the power distribution network. Is that the power distribution is inlaid through the walls and floor in long-running circuits, which you have seen once before in Tilikal ruins. This isn't exactly the same, but appears to be operating along similar principles. Oh, we lost somebody. Oh. Who did we lose? That was a Chris. We lost a Chris. Connie, check if he's still alive.
Hi, Chris.
Connie, are you with us?
He's just gone to the medical bay. He's just gone to the medical bay.
Here he is.
He'll be alright. That's not me.
Sorry,
Right there, Chris?
PC. Yeah, PC's playing up slightly, but I'm back.
It is still quite warm, so yeah, it's steadily warming up in this part of my house anyway. So, heatwave, folks. It's not good for British houses. We weren't made for it. And as was rightly pointed out, our houses were built in some of these houses were built in the Victorian era. So, you know. Anyway, getting back to these guys. So yeah, they appear to have used power distribution and computational models very, very similar to Tilical technology that you've come across. But obviously not exactly like that, but mirroring it in many ways. Which explains now why everything is so compact and efficient.
Alright, so my question to you, Matt, is this basically a very compact, very efficient warp engine?
Yes.
Okay.
It does use the basic principles of matter-antimatter collision to generate energy.
Okay. Tavish, just she's looking through all the little bits. Well, as she sees this, like, sees this engine core, and she goes, would you mind if I just, how do I put this? Kind of take some pictures. I'm very fascinated by the design.
You'd like to take a scan of our engine core?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Oh,
if it helps.
And she just goes, Nylil, can you I'm gonna plug you into my tricorder. Would you mind looking over the scans for me while I ask some more questions?
Compliance.
Thank you.
So this guy's just seeing one side of a conversation as
Yes.
Tavish talks to himself. Herself.
This guy just seems to be thinking that you're talking over comms to somebody else, so he doesn't really bat much of an eyelid. I hasten to note that, like Vulcans and Romulans, he has pointy eyebrows as well as pointy ears, so yes.
So what do you use for... I'm sorry, I probably should get on to repairing, but one more question is, what do you use for a fuel source?
Matt doesn't have an immediate answer to that, so
okay,
we'll call it an obtainium for now, and then I'll come up with a...
Ooh!
At which
heard
point,
of that before.
I will use a Trek random mineral generator to later on create the minerals they produce.
So exactly what's been going wrong here? Would you?
Well, we took damage. We need to get the system restarted. We need to pinpoint where there are breaks in the system due to structural damage or to circuitry shorting out. We need to get main power back distributed to the rest of the ship.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just, if you show me around the things which have you've seen which are actually broken, and I can go around scanning from there, and we can see if there's any other faults between other systems and stuff.
Happy to.
She puts down her toolkit, gets out a couple of custom tools for scanning, for breaks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Gets her toolkit out, basically.
Yeah, she keeps Nylil her. She's used a USB.
Connected to the tricorder.
Yeah, but she put in her engineering tricorder back in on her belt, still connected to Nylil. While she does, she could probably do it in like a few. Yeah, she probably could do it in a few seconds, but I asked for a detailed report. So
yeah, the essential thing. I mean, I won't need a roll, you've got a full momentum pool, and this is well within Tavish's capabilities of doing this. Just needs to be shown around things a bit. But yeah, there's a lot of surprising elements to all of this, not the least of which is the very the similarity to Tilical technology, or at least its principal basis. But the fact that they're an early spacefaring civilization and already managing to get to Warp 5 is very impressive. Everything on this ship has been built with... It seems to have been made as compact and space efficient as possible.
She'll turn around to Specialist Jemai and just go, this is a very impressive design here.
You say that. I heard you appeared out of nowhere on the bridge. I'm sure your vessel's a lot more sophisticated. Unfortunately, Tavish, you're not so sure.
Perfectly honest, I'm not actually sure. Our engine, what we call a warp core. This is what we call a warp core. This is very compact. Ours is 2 stories high.
Wow. I mean, you can generate a lot of power that way. Tavish is like, yes, power.
I think, perfectly honest, if this was 2 stories high, yeah.
Well, the mind boggles at the possibility, yes.
Yeah, maybe. No, I need to carry on and do my job.
So, Nylil is there going...
Scanning. This is... tasty.
I know what you mean.
Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Sott is shown to the medical bay, and it's... Again, just like what Tavish found, you expect an early spacefaring civilization to have, you know, reasonably sharp tech to get them into space. You weren't expecting anything like a biobed, and certainly you don't have anything towards the full sophistication of a biobed, but they're not far off. So... the amount of technology you do find is still sophisticated enough that you've got plenty to work with. The interesting things that Dr. Sott starts to put together as he's here working on these folks is that even though Dr. Sott was fully prepared to have a bit of trouble with an unknown biology, Dr. Sott, being a Starfleet medical trained medical officer, is very familiar with Vulcan and Romulan biology, and as such is rather surprised to learn that the Akaru are extraordinarily similar to Vulcans and Romulans. They've got the same green blood, they've got the same internal organ layout, practically identical. The only thing that marks them as different from Romulans and Vulcans is they have this curious webbing. Not much, but noticeable webbing between their fingers and toes. But that's it. That's the extent of the difference, biologically speaking, of these Akaru to Vulcans and Romulans. Again, Dr. Sott is good enough at what he does that I don't require a roll from you to how well or badly he treats the injured. I assume he treats them all extremely easily and manages to save those who can be saved, and those who can't be are probably already dead or are experiencing massive trauma. So unless there's anything specific Dr. Sott wants to investigate or look at... Assuming, of course, that Chris actually heard any of that.
Sorry, I'm currently I'm having a bit of a battle with my PC at the moment. The USB ports are playing up. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. There wasn't much more to add to that. Jumping back to the bridge. And by jumping, I mean plodding along slowly until it loads. Okay, there we go. So, Tavish and Sott are off to one side, but...
can I ask a quick question for this?
Sure.
On kind of with for Dr. Sott and what he would notice.
Sure.
The webbing would that make? Are these like aquatic? Aquatic, more aquatic.
Potentially. I mean, for the most part, they still appear to be very much mammals, and therefore don't have anything like gills or scales or anything like that. They're certainly still warm-blooded, like Vulcans and Romulans. So this
dolphin Vulcans.
Well, this webbing could be just a vestigial mutation, or may have had a purpose in their early evolution. Who knows? As you say, dolphins. But they're not cetaceans, so, yeah. Councillor Sachs. As she's making her rounds, checking on these people, she finds them all very approachable. Not one of them is so engrossed in their work that they say, "Excuse me, Councillor, I can't talk right now. Can you, you know, get away from me and let me do my job." Each of them is curious, very approachable. They all have this naturally charming charisma about them. So they don't give off any kind of telepathic sense of being duplicitous in any way, like I've already said. As such, they don't come off as scheming Romulan types. But the similarities to Vulcans and Romulans is so obvious that having such warm, cordial, emotional people that resemble Vulcans so much is almost off-putting in a way, because you've had experience with Vulcans, and you know, you've known affable Vulcans, you've known absolute arseholes that were Vulcans, and so far each and every one of these people have been affable and curious enough about you, about Councillor Sachs and where Councillor Sachs comes from, not just what species she is and, you know, stuff like that, but, you know, the Federation, what your level of technology is, and whatnot. They all seem very keen and interested in anything that Councillor Sachs has to say. They're obviously worried about their prospects about getting home now that the ship has been damaged and they've lost so many crew members, but as they see you guys moving about and getting to know you more, and the more that Councillor Sachs and Phlesc talks about the Federation and Starfleet, the Akaru definitely start to relax a lot more around them and are very interested in hearing more about your culture, where you've come from. So, So, Phlesc and everybody else, as you're just talking along with these folks, yeah, you get the idea that a Starfleet vessel would probably require 30% more crew and resources due to their design parameters, or in order to operate this ship, these people, you know, they operate on a level of efficiency and whatnot that you haven't encountered before. If they weren't so behind the times in their advancement towards space travel, it could almost be to the point of showing you guys up, you know. Starfleet is known for being very good at having advanced levels of technology. But if you wound yourselves back, if your various cultures wound yourselves back to being at the same stage of spacefaring evolution that the Akaru appear to be at, their ships would run rings around yours. So, anything else that anybody like Commander Phlesc wants to get from these guys before essentially we move on from how far you managed to repair systems?
Well, it's just, how long have they been exploring space? What is their aims? What have they encountered? What should we be aware of in this area?
Fair enough.
Apart from the obvious EM storms.
Yes. Commander Mounty just states, yeah, like you said, just the EM storms. We haven't encountered many other sentient civilizations outside of our own, in our own system. The Setu system. We've been space traveling for only since the last decade or so, during which time we've been trying to perfect our spacefaring technology. We still have more in development around the docks on the southern part of our planet, and looking to expand as quickly as we possibly can under the leadership and guidance of the Iriax.
And what's that?
Oh, the Iriax. The Iriax would be our head of state. They are known as Iriax Nadeon, also known as the Timeless. The Iriax guides us through our advancement in science, as well as makes the rules by which we live.
Interesting.
Do you not have singular leadership amongst your people?
No, we form a collective.
I see. Interesting. And you can see from the way that she phrases that she's being diplomatic. One of the thoughts that races across Councillor Sax's mind is inefficient, but okay. That kind of impression is what Councillor Sax gets. Nevertheless, is there anything else you would like to know? Okay. Yes.
Assuming that we have communicated this to Hopkins,
Right, yes.
will our plan be to go on an escort mission then as well?
Good point, well made. According to what Tavish and Phlesc, because both are pretty good engineers, can determine, the engineering section of the Ikaru ship is still very poorly. And even though Tavish can get it mostly running again, its faster than light drive is still not going to be functioning at regular efficiency. So it's still going to take some time to get back to their home planet of Setu. More than likely, you're going to have to tow it. They don't have the same advanced levels of ship shields that you guys do, but again, considering how early they are in their development, their shields are not too shabby. So it might take about the safest speed would be to tow them along at warp 5, which would take about a week to get to their home planet. The ship itself is not made, the Ikaru's ship is not made for higher warp speeds. So if you were going to try and tow them along at a greater speed, you would have to find some way of mitigating the fact that the ship is going to be shaking itself apart if it's not reinforced or protected somehow from high travel speeds. So that's essentially a problem for you guys to work out how to get over. Oh, now this is a thought. Is it safe for my kitty cats to be looking at that disturbed beehive? Let's see what happens. In any case,
the spicy sky raisins.
yeah. Thank you. My two cats are very, very cautiously investigating the remnants of the hive. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, what would you guys like to do or try in regards to how long it is going to take to escort the Akaru back to their home planet?
I suppose learn more about the culture for Phlesc. I don't know if Tavish wants to fully understand how to make a compact warp core.
In that regard, Tavish would gain the impression of that is something that's possible, but it's such a radical rethinking in how technology works that it would take a goodly long while.
So she'll be doing that as a next project then.
Well,
she'll probably write a theory about it at some point.
sure. And you've had Nihil scanning it, but
Yeah.
who is
plus
this got starship design?
Me.
You, yeah. So when Phlesc gets a chance to look at the sensor scans that Tavish has taken, it'll be a similar thing for him as well, or just anybody's scans of the systems, including aversions, which I was about to get to. Like I said, modelled on Tilical technology, and is ridiculously efficient in its space efficient in its creation and its design, which goes against a good many current thinking ship design ethos.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How easy, even though I've done doing the repairs, how easy is it to fix? Is it a little bit more difficult? Is it a bit easier?
For you, it's going to be a bit of both in its own strange way, because the compact nature of the technology should mean that the efficiency let me start that again. The measure of efficiency that these operate by should suggest that they should be ridiculously easy to repair and refit and whatever, but it's this specific means of creating power and generation and computation power and stuff like that is at the moment principles beyond which you're familiar with and don't really match with current thinking of starship design, that would take a while to reevaluate, if you get my meaning.
Yeah. She will. Tavish will talk to. Will get Commander Phlesc on comms and go, hey, have you read the schematics for this thing?
No. Why? What's up?
This thing is. I mean, this thing is fantastic. Like, imagine if we built a 2-story thing of this transwarp. That transwarp theory people have been talking about, that it will be going faster than that. Honestly, the Tavish Phlesc, or okay, all right, the Phlesc Tavish. I'll let you have this one because I've got the Aurora drive. The Phlesc Tavish warp drive. Think about it, Phlesc.
I will. Let's get them home safely before we plan our next science project. Is there anything we need to be concerned about with the structure of the vessel? We've not encountered any other problems.
Not going any. Perfectly honest, it's a little bit better than Bruise, but if we if we're careful, we take the ship safely back, then.
Do they have shields?
They do,
Or should
after
we
a
just
fashion, yes.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they kind of do.
Should we just not wrap our shields around theirs, extend our shields?
Probably an idea
Conserve,
too.
conserve some of their energy so we
Yeah.
can focus on getting them
We
back
can-
safely.
Perfectly honest, I rather, if we are going to do that, then probably bring a couple of specialized engineers on board. Probably not Klingons.
How compact is this ship, Matt?
Is
Well,
Will
a lot
it
is
fit
fair
in
to
our...
No, it won't. It's, if I can go back to our depiction of the area, you are scale 6, they are scale 3, so they're half the scale. But no, they won't fit into a bay or anything like that. They're too big. But by comparison, a scale 2 ship, like a runabout, would. So they're a step above being as small as a runabout, but a step beyond too big, being bigger than you can fit inside of your... Though spacious, not spacious enough shuttle bay. Go on, Connie, you're going to say something. Oop, you broke up there.
The ship is too big for this. To be
Say that again, you
in
broke
our-
up on the first part of it, I didn't quite hear you.
just a boo. Just cheering
Ah,
that the ship can't fit.
just boo, okay.
Mm.
But yes,
We need a
wrapping
bigger
your
ship.
Shields. We need you can't get a bigger ship than this. You have a whopping great big ship. But yes,
Get a ship that can house size 3 ships in it.
well, we're talking a ridiculous scale of ship then, aren't we? Which I don't think is due to happen in Starfleet according to Star Trek Online for a good couple of years yet. Nevertheless, what was Ensign Eversion doing again? Remind me, Liz?
Trying to see if he can't modulate those shields to stop any
Protect
and all
them. That's a good idea.
from any type of whatever happened to them the first time to prevent it from happening again.
Knight Rider 83 just said, put a garage underneath for size 3 ships. just bolt on an extra big, I don't know, put this huge clamp on the underneath of it so you just latch onto it. The ships and just drag them
just
around.
have this big, just tow this big massive trailer.
Just hitch them to the wagon at the back.
yeah.
A spacefaring anti-grav sled, you say?
Yeah.
A scale
Next
6
project.
anti-grav sled, okay.
Oh,
Oh, listen to them gasp in ecstasy. Jeez, Willikers.
I am.
Oh yes,
What do
that's
you-
the stuff.
what's the point of this trailer? Is it to have a bunch of what?
Oh, it's
For all our
so
bitchin'
so
vehicles.
Tavish. Well, it's so Tavish has a reason to use a new warp drive to power it.
I think we need to put another. I think we need to put another warp drive in the ship for the size.
If you're going to be towing along a whacking great big trailer section that'll house scale 3 ships in, and you're going to need another warp core.
Yeah. Perfectly honest though, I think the biggest obstacle in the way of doing this is
Besides
making
physics?
making a trailer hitch big enough. I don't think we can do it.
Okay, so the general consensus seems to be... Oh, my boy is about to try swatting at the bees. He's gonna go badly for him any second now. Ah, there you are, Chris. Alright, so the general consensus seems to be that you are going to try extending your shields around these guys. You modulated... Eversion has tried modulating their shields enough so they can take some of the shear off, which is good. That suggests that you could maybe try for a slightly higher warp speed, maybe 6, in order to get them home in about 4 days rather than 7. But you're still going to have to latch a tractor beam onto them and tow them. At current sitting, that's the best way likely to get them home.
Do you even have a tractor beam on this ship?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. Did we put a tractor beam?
Yeah, there's a tractor beam as
Tavish-
standard. I just haven't put it on the list of equipment because that's where you tend to keep the weapons. And really, a tractor beam is just a strength check between 2 ships, essentially. Go on.
Can I make a suggestion? Seeing as we do have the civilian stuff on the ship,
Yeah.
Tavish probably suggests to the captain, if we are towing them, that we bring their commander on board.
Ooh.
For like a diplomatic talk with the captain and other high-ranking officers.
Show
Bring their
them
captain
round,
on board
yeah.
to show them your ship and how awesome it is.
Yeah. Yes, and probably a selected few of their crew as well.
So,
Non-essential
here it is.
for maintenance.
Don't take them to deck 7.
Yeah, no, we're not going to show them absolutely everything. That'd be,
Kind of silly,
No-
and
no-
maybe a security risk.
yeah, no showing of weapons. Okay.
Obviously, but culture exchange, deck 7, battle arena.
Yeah, like no taking them down to Gerkow's, black site.
What black site?
Exactly. But kind of going round, the science, medical, science bays, medical bays, probably the lower engineering, not higher end, not the lower deck of the engineering and not higher deck of the engineering. The
Okay.
crew quarters and stuff, the bridge. So, I'll be right back. My headphone battery is just about to die, so.
Okay. So, yes, to say that some of the Akaru are keen to be invited on board your vessel in order to have a look around would be a vast understatement. Councillor Sachs is nearly overwhelmed by the amount of enthusiasm that just boils off of these people. They're very enthusiastic to come on board and have a look. So Commander Mouty feels greatly honoured that and privileged that she's going to get a chance to see your ship. And so, yes, is very interested in everything that you've got going on. And so the engineers of their party are very curious about how your warp core works and how you distribute power throughout the ship. Needless to say, any telepaths or empaths nearby detect a whole note of, oh, okay. We could probably do better, but okay. To the Akaru's internal monologues, but other than that, they're very interested to see that and they're very impressed with the sheer amount of different species that are all collaboratively working together as a crew. So they're very impressed with all of that. And of course, your ship is hench-normous, and therefore they're not overcome, but very impressed with the scale of this ship. It is massive. They don't really have much of a medical team left anymore because apparently their chief curate, the name for their doctor, was apparently one of the ones killed in the accident, or the unfortunate whatever that happened. So Dr. Sott offering to perhaps bring some some wounded folks over onto the combs in order to get them seen in to a lot more advanced medical care is also welcomed by them. And so, yes, you bring them on board, you give them a little tour, they're very impressed with everything they see. And when Commander Mounty gets brought onto the bridge, she is blown away by everything. And so you invite her to stay to show as you start to get things ready to get underway. So thanks to Ensign Aversion's small modifications to their shields, allowing them to have a better structural integrity when it comes to going at higher warp speeds. You've also said you're extending your shields around, which gives them a bit of a protection bubble as well against any bumps you may encounter along the way. You're more or less ready to go. It takes... I mean, considering how well Lian Zhang managed to pilot this massive ship through those gravimetric shear and EM pockets, I'm not going to ask for another roll because it was suitably epic that we know she can get out the other side. So, yes, Commander Mounty and the rest of the Akaru who are allowed on board are very impressed with how well this ship works and how you all work together and everything that's going on, and they're just having an immensely enjoyable time watching you pull their vessel through to safety, ready to go to high warp, well, not high warp, ready to go to warp in order to get you out of the system. But before you managed to get to a safe spot with which the ship can break into warp, that is when Tactical alerts you to a situation as Dyneth speaks up. Captain, I am reading warp signatures warping into this system. As 4 incoming ships are identified, and they drop out of warp, coming towards you. These are Norsicans. And apparently they have followed the corrodum particles that have been leaking out of the Akaru's vessel when it was stricken, and have followed the trail here. At which point the Norsicans raise their shields, power their weapons, and essentially the leader of which sends a communication through.
Surrender the ship, Klingon. They're our spoils.
At which point... Yes, indeed. At which point, on the bridge, there are numerous folks whose eyebrows raise and their lips curl back into a very amused grin. Captain, what do you think?
Red alert.
Oh, please send them a message back going, this is the Federation starship, the USS Combs A. Power down your shields and weapons, or
power down your shields and weapons, or you might not have them in the near future.
Another way of saying it, you could do the whole Spartan thing. Norsicans, come and get them.
My dear, poor new victims. Power down your shields before we forcibly remove your shields in one blast.
Well then, yes, Norsicans, you say. Yeah, I think it was summed up nicely by that very evil cackle that you just gave us there, Liz. So, yes, as Captain Hopkins very calmly and with a big amused grin on her face turns to the communications officer, red alert, and turns to Captain Naughty. You're going to enjoy this.
Commander Mounty's probably a little worried now by just the evil laugh from Hopkins.
These people are not concerned in the least. Why is this? Well, we'll have to find out next week, because unfortunately we've run out of time. But
Hopkins is basically telling Monty, like, hold my earrings.
Oh, you know it's serious when the earrings are coming off. Anyway, first things first, is everybody available next week for the 7th of June?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll see
I'm
exactly
ready.
how long it takes you to take out the Nausicaans.
Yep, I will be available for the day after D-Day.
Nice. Good to know. Everybody else good?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent.
7th fine, 14th not.
Okay, noted. In which case, I will say thanks to everybody who popped around to give us a watch. Trust me, it'll get a lot more entertaining next week. But if you want to see Nausicaans get their asses absolutely handed to them, then tune in next week. If you're watching this on YouTube, consider giving us a like, because maybe the algorithm might take mercy on us. Who knows? Especially these days. But, yes, essentially, do like the Vulcans do, folks. Live long and prosper, obviously. But, yes, when necessary, give your friends really big toys that they have every intention of using. But also engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations, because a sensible society embraces the differences within itself, rather than the opposite. Treat each other with kindness and respect like every decent human being should, and with any luck we'll see you next week, same time, same place. In the meantime, hailing frequencies are now closed.